Quite literally. Will Tidwell, a younger gentleman.
I wish I didn't have this big heart. People just do nothing but hurt me. Anybody can dream the dream. Anybody can have a goal, but see,
You're gonna be a neighborhood hero. You just keep shining, young king. Hey, what's going on, man? This is Will Z Tidwell with SpeakUPZee, and you're not tuned into another episode of SpeakUPZee, the podcast. And the podcast where we talk about real things with real people. Everything from life to business to mental health and everything else in between. And as you can see, man, I'm not alone today. I got a special guest with me. And somebody that is a prophetic brother, right? A business-minded man. Somebody that's truly down to earth when it comes to connecting church to community, and also finances and wealth and things of that nature. So, man, Mr. D, what's going on?
Hey, yeah, bro.
How you doing?
It's good, man.
Doing
Thanks
good.
for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming, man. We've been
Thank
trying to do this for 2 or 3 weeks. And we finally got it together.
Today is the day.
100%. So, again, just for the people that don't know you, Mr. D, just real quick, just give them your, quick synopsis of who you are, what you do, how long you've been doing it, and what brought you to being in that type of work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Daryl Dandredge, and certainly, like I said, I love to shout out certainly my God,
Yeah.
and so I'm a believer. I'm a Christian, but I'm a husband and I'm a father.
Yep.
I'm a grandfather. Pop. A lot of folks know me because I always talk about being pop.
Yeah.
And doing that, pastor of a church, but I am a businessman. And but I've always had this thing about money.
Mhm.
Even as a child, money was a thing that I always could get it.
Yeah.
Like I chop cotton, I pick cotton, cut yards, rake leaves, cut hedges, fighting waltzes. I'm down in the country.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I heard it when you said cotton. You had me at cotton.
Oh yeah, that was dead giveaway right there.
Let me know you was not from around these parts, man. Cause you got it from my mom, man.
Yeah,
Mariana.
Yeah,
Born
Mariana,
and raised.
Arkansas.
Absolutely.
That's the big M town.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. So you've been a bona fide hustler your whole life.
Hey, doing what I got to do.
Yeah. And outside of being your pastor and running your own church, you also are a part of a really big organization and network, right? A business.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain to people what that is exactly, and how that whole business model works for the people that don't know?
Yeah, well, let me just give you a little background on it.
Mhm.
I was, even though, like, I talk about, I've never had a real problem getting money. Keeping money was my problem.
Was always an issue.
Yeah, and sometimes I even run into it, today,
Yeah.
But about now, what I'm putting my money into is things that's going to produce money back for me.
Yeah.
And so I used to spend a lot of money just on stuff.
Yeah.
And so now I'm putting money more so into asset building things. And I really became aware of that through an organization that's out of Atlanta, Georgia, which is called MyEcon. It's MYECON. And MyEcon is short for My Economy. And what the business model is to teach everyday individuals how to run your own personal economy. My economy. Yeah. And so because when we look at like the government, they have their economy. So whether it be state, city, federal, county, everybody got their own economy.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing about it is, they are not really as engaged with my economy as I have to be.
100%.
And so that right there was just the perfect thing. Right. And when I, became involved with this organization back in 2012, and I was able to sit down with the founder of the company, who was a multimillionaire in his early 50s, at that time, and just sitting down over lunch, over a meal. He came to Arkansas, and here it is. I'm getting ready to meet with this multimillionaire. I had no idea where we were going to eat.
Yeah.
It was going to be somewhere really extravagant. You know where we end up eating?
Where I go?
Cracker Barrel. Yeah, Chick-fil-A. What the Cracker Barrel? Yeah, that's his favorite spot.
Yeah.
And so we sit down, and he said something to me that I'll never forget. And he said, he asked me, he said, where would you like to be in 5 years? What would your goal be in 5 years? Half-heartedly, as a joke, but somewhat seriously, I said, I want to be a millionaire. He said, you can do it. And it was, the sincerity in his voice, it wasn't just like, what? You can do it. You got to get it done. It wasn't nothing like that. He said, you can do it. I said, I can. He said, yeah. He said, I got a roadmap for you. These are the things that you need to do.
What were some of those things he said?
Well, one of the things was I got to understand money.
That's number one.
Number one, got to understand money.
I said the other day, I said that if you don't truly understand financial literacy when it comes to business, and I understand that's a popular thing to say and talk about, but like truly understanding how to project money, understanding what you need to do to make that money, understanding the difference in having these different bank accounts and how to manage the money.
Absolutely.
If you don't understand that, you're already behind the 8 ball when it comes to business.
That's what
life.
That's where the problem comes with
100%.
People.
100%.
Yeah. And even like I said, with business owners, and that's why I really like to talk with small business owners.
Yes, sir.
Because I want you to understand it's not just about just making money.
Yes, sir.
And that's what, like I said, if I just make enough money.
Yeah.
See, but the other thing is that money, when you start understanding money, you will understand that money is just a tool.
Yeah.
And so, and then that's the other part to it, because with me being raised in the church and teaching money and knowing something about money and seeing this in the Bible, about money, and most people don't even know that the Bible talks about money more than it does faith and also salvation.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that was so important for God and his disciples to make key emphasis on that as many times as they did? Because I remember in your book, we're going to talk about that later, you actually gave a statistic of how many times it talks about it. I can't remember the exact number.
Over 5,000 times.
Yeah, it was like, I knew it was a lot.
Yeah,
right?
A lot.
So
5,000.
Why do you think there was such a big emphasis for even way back then? Why was it such a big deal?
Because it takes money to do ministry. It takes money to live life. And that's why, I talk about, and I tell people all the time, particularly in church or Christians,
yes, sir,
that the devil don't want us to believe it. That's why, like it's such an issue, such a problem for church folk to have money. The reason that churches are not doing what they need to be doing or what we need to be doing in the community is because we think I just need enough money for me and my 3, my 4 and no more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. But no, the enemy wants us to believe that, man, money is bad.
Yeah.
And like saying, that scripture in 1 Timothy, that says money, well, this is the way people quote it. Money is the root of all evil.
Absolutely.
But it's not money, it's the love of money. And when you understand, like I stated just a moment ago, that money is simply a tool.
Yeah.
I have a toolbox. And in that toolbox, I have, wire pliers, I have ratchets, I have screwdrivers, So I got these things in my toolbox. And all of these things don't work on the same thing.
Right.
So, but I know in my toolbox,
yes, sir,
I can reach in and get, okay, this is what I need for this.
Right.
So when you look at money is just, okay, well, what I need for this.
Right.
A lot of folks say, well, all you need is love.
Absolutely. Love ain't gonna pay this bill, bro. You hear me?
that's what my auntie told me and my wife when we were engaged. We made the announcement. We getting ready to get married, boy. And we were broke, boy. And she's like, baby,
I'm gonna let you know.
Like, why y'all get married? We love each other. Love ain't gonna pay the bill.
Man.
Because you ain't paid me that money you owe me yet.
Man. You still owe me money. You talking about paying for wait.
Yeah,
You crazy? And you said something in your book, man, and I was gonna wait till later, but you said something that was just too hard to give up. And again, that book is called A Broke Christian is an Oxymoron. It was a great read, simple read, right? And I like that, right?
I'm a simple person.
100%. You said something in there very big.
I say 100%, bro.
Because you talked about the difference between emergencies and inconveniences. Can you explain what you meant by that real quick? Can you get them like a quick, brief
absolutely.
of that? You talked about that a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, most of the time what happens is that there are things that's actually inconveniences, but because we are not prepared, it's an emergency.
Yeah. Can you give him that example that you gave in the book when you talked about that?
Wow. Let's see.
Do you remember what you said?
I don't necessarily. I might do. I might not because, like I told you,
it's been a minute. It's been a minute. I know. I know. It's one of the first ones you wrote.
Yeah, that's the first one. Well, one of the things that in talking about that was that just say that your car break down.
Absolutely.
Okay, if that's okay. Say your car break down, you need a battery.
Yeah.
All right. Say batteries $200.
Right.
Well, it becomes an emergency to
Yeah.
you. You're freaking out, call 911.
Right.
But when you look at really, it's just an inconvenience if you got the money in the bank.
Absolutely.
If your credit is tight and you got your credit card,
Yeah.
and like say, okay, well, because I pay my cards off each month, I don't want to use this cash. I'm just going to use this, and then I just pay it off at the end of the month.
Exactly.
Because on this card, when what happens is that for all the times I use card, I get extra points. That I get cash back. All this kind of stuff. I get it toward my travel or whatever it is. And so I'm gonna pay it off at the end of the week. I'm gonna pay it off at the end of the month before they charge me interest. And so at that point, it's like you go out, God, dog, what's the matter? Battery. Inconvenience. Now I got to get out of this car and go get in my other car.
Absolutely.
And go get a battery.
100%.
But if I'm so jacked up
financially,
yeah, the other car probably broke down too.
Yeah, you might even have another car.
May not even have one.
Right. You might be sharing one with your wife already, as it is.
And then if she's at work,
right,
gotta call her, and here it is, coming emergency.
Yeah.
And
now we're panicking.
What we gonna do?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what we gonna do?
Absolutely.
We know when we're gonna get paid to next Friday.
Exactly.
And here it is.
Already behind, gotta use that check for something as it is.
Absolutely, because what we're paying for this week is what happened last week.
100%.
And that's not the way it's supposed to be. And so when you understand that, and that's what looking at the book, the title of the book, that broke Christian is oxymoron. I love it because what happens a lot of times, people are like, "Oh, you gonna call me a moron? I'm a Christian." Oh, you got to understand the meaning of it.
What does it mean?
Because oxymoron is two words in the same sentence trying to describe the other but can't.
Absolutely. Because they're opposites.
They're opposites.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They don't coexist.
Yeah.
They can't coexist together.
Right.
Now both of them are there.
Yeah.
Because you can be a Christian.
Yeah.
But when we look at what the Bible talks about, that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. It says you are the head, you're not the tail. You're the lender and not the borrower. I don't know if I told you once. So when we talked, where my daughter, because I've been teaching that lender, we're the lenders, not the borrower. Lenders, not the borrower. And my daughter, she was about 12. We were out walking one day, man. We was exercising, and I used that. Told her about that scripture. She said, "Dad, I don't mean to cut you off." When folks tell you don't mean to cut you off, they really mean to cut you off.
For sure.
And so she said, "You always be teaching and preaching about we the lenders and not the borrowers. But in order to be the lender, don't you have to have some money?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She said, "Well, we ain't got no money." Because again, at that point, man, like I said, it just wasn't good. I wasn't managing that money well. I can get the money in, but I wasn't keeping it. And so I got to thinking about that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
If I'm the lender, that means I gotta have money. So that means I need to be generating cash all the time. I need money coming in when I sleep. And it wasn't very long after that was when, because I started praying, and that's when I became affiliated with the company of my econ. And then as a result of some things that I learned, I decided to sit down and write this book. And so you got broke and you got Christian. Those two, they're not.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that in order to be a Christian, you have to be rich.
No.
That just means that you have to understand how to steward the things you've been given.
Right, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Because now you can be broke and be a Christian,
Yeah.
meaning that I just don't have the money at this point.
Yeah.
Now, but you actually never broke.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is when you understand the authority and the power that you have.
Absolutely.
You see, because over in Psalm 82, it says that you are gods. We're gods.
Absolutely.
Not God apostrophe S, saying that I'm a God, you're a God, you're a God. Those listeners, you're gods. And so, and this is from God. And so he's saying, because you are the son of God, you are the daughters of God. Just like my children, they're Dandredges. They're Dandredges. No matter what anybody say, they're Dandredges. Now, they may go out and not act like it.
Which we all do sometimes.
And we do all do sometimes.
Absolutely.
But the thing about it is the authority and the power that we have
Absolutely.
is that lets us know that, hey, we can call for money to come. We can call. So it just got to the point of saying like, hey, I need to make sure that I'm creating assets. One of the big things that I learned is that you have to always put together and have your resources set up for cash, asset, cash. You ever heard of that before?
I heard it in your book.
Oh, okay.
I heard it.
So what does that mean? That means that you take some cash, and with that cash, instead of buying a liability, which most people don't know the difference between a liability and an asset, they go out and buy something that's not going to generate cash back to them.
Yeah. But instead, probably going to keep hemorrhaging them for cash, if anything.
That's what it's going to do.
Absolutely.
That's what it's going to do.
Absolutely.
And then, but you buy an asset,
an
asset is going to be giving you money back
on a consistent basis.
On a consistent basis.
Do you feel like when it comes to emergency and inconveniences, I think a lot of the biggest things when it comes to why so many people live in an emergency mindset or an emergency type of life, majority of their life, is because they don't put their priorities in the right place. Do you think that we should wait to be in love and to serve, if possible? I know you can't really control that all the time. Because when you're in love, you're in love. When you know. But do you feel like some people prioritize those type of things of trying to give to others and taking care of others and trying to focus on relationships and sex and all of those different things when your finances not even in order? And that's why they're always in this emergency mindset because of things like that. Do you feel like we should wait the best we can before we try to give our time and energy to all those things? Or how does that? Because like you said, you was in love, but you didn't even have your life in order the way you wanted it yet.
Did not.
Do you feel like we should try to wait the best we can? I know they can't always control that, but
right. Well, I think it should be this way. If we did what we as parents should do, teach our children while they're young about finances, about the principles and strategies of getting money, of creating assets, these types of things. If we started right there when they're 2 and 3 and 4 years old, you say that's too young to be talking about money. Well, but you teach them the ABCs, you teach them the 1, 2, 3s.
Money is just as fundamental as that.
It's just as fundamental as that. And so when you start teaching them about that on their level, and as they continue to grow, when they do fall in love, it's already in place.
Absolutely.
So we don't have to wait.
And so that's probably the reason why a lot of us live in that emergency mindset, is because we're not having those conversations.
Right, we're not having those conversations. Now, this is the thing here, because a lot of times we talk about this, my parents didn't teach me this. If my parents had taught me that, your parents didn't know.
Yeah.
In most cases.
Yeah.
Because really, now they may know how to make money.
Absolutely.
But they don't really know how to put money or get money in a position where it'll work for them instead of them working for you.
100%.
Because we do hear a lot in our community, and it's a person's choice. Well, I got mine, you get yours.
Yep.
Well, like I said, I had to work hard for everything that I got.
Yep.
Well, the Bible tells us this, that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. In other words, a good man leaves an inheritance to his grandchildren. This is the way it's supposed to work. We don't really teach this. That is, your grandparents were supposed to leave wealth to you, not your parents. Your parents' grandparents were supposed to leave wealth to them. You come along, yes, you're going to have babies. You're going to do these things. But your parents were supposed to be leaving wealth for your children. You are creating wealth for your grandchildren.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying here?
Absolutely.
And so
it never skips a generation.
No, it don't skip a generation. So like I said, because we're ahead of the game.
Yeah. And you know what that made me think of is that dilemma between the white community and the black community, where they always talk about how little Johnny can stay in his mom's house till he's 25 and get his stuff together, and there's no pressure there.
Right.
Versus, for me personally, I moved out when I was 17 years old with no plan, no understanding of really how money works.
Right.
Like, I can go make it.
Yeah.
But I don't really know how it works.
Right.
And I think because of that, I was behind the 8 ball in a lot of ways. I had to bump my head a lot more than maybe somebody else did that comes from a family where their parents let them stay there.
Yeah.
Their parents let them save their money. Their parents
Mhm.
taught them how to save their money and things of that nature. And I'm like, why do you feel like in the black community there's such a big stigma around that? Where it's like, you 18, all right, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
Why?
yeah,
Why
yeah.
is that such a big thing?
Well, it was the way we were taught.
Yeah.
It was not our fault,
Yeah.
but that's the way we were taught because our parents and our grandparents basically taught our grandparents taught our parents that when you get 18, you either got to go to school, it means college, or you got to get a job,
Mm-hmm.
or you got to go to the army.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. You had 3 options.
Yep.
Neither one of those options said you can stay here and get yourself together.
None of them.
Mm-mm.
Very rare.
Very, very rare.
Now, true enough, a lot of us wanted to be grown, and that's part of it too. We can't blame it all on the parents,
No,
right? Per
no,
se,
no.
like, 'cause I know part of it for me, I wanted
That's
to be
true.
grown, right?
Yeah,
I wanted
that's
to be
true.
grown,
Right.
but at the same time, there wasn't ever a conversation either to really let me know, like,
Yeah.
you don't understand how real it is out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so again, because of that type of thing, I think sometimes we get behind the 8 ball.
We do, and again, it goes back to I believe that if we've been having those conversations, teaching and training, if we've been educated to it,
Yeah,
and then we're able to share that with our children as they're growing,
100%.
and saying like, hey, because like my wife and I, we were actually talking this morning. Our daughter, we have a daughter that's staying with us, and so she's looking forward to getting married and starting a family and all of that. And so I told my wife, I said, well, this is what I want to do. Yeah, we've talked about it before, but I said this I'm looking forward to and excited about when she says, Daddy, me and my husband, check this out, we found a house.
Mm.
And I said, okay, I got your down payment and your closing costs. Now that right there, we're like, wait a minute. And so my wife even said, what is a husband gonna do? I said, now as long as he's a good dude and he's working and he's making strides toward this, I said, I don't have a problem with it. Now, if he just old bum just trying to live off of her, I'm like, no,
I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that. But if we see that they have a plan, they have a strategy, it's because like my daughter, like I said, ever since she has been, because she's actually 29, and so she has some health issues, and I praise God, she just had surgery, and she is 40 days now. Wow. Without seizures.
I'm glad she's okay.
Man, we've been praising God for
Absolutely.
that, And so she's getting, in a place where, like I said, she works and everything like that.
Yeah.
But this was the thing that we started doing with her, and I started teaching her. She got investment accounts.
Yeah.
Accounts.
Yeah. Plural. Absolutely.
So she's in there, and and I love it. I had said something back here 2, 3, 4 years ago, and I said something about her buying something. She's like, Dad, I ain't got no money. I'm like, what you talking about? You ain't got no money. Well, I'm gonna pay my tithes. And I got my investment account. say less.
And that don't mean you don't physically got no money. That mean I don't have money just to blow.
Yeah.
On liability.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Because she understanding the principle.
Yeah,
and then the other thing too, she said, I'm making sure that I got money for my business because she, got a dream and aspiration that she's trying to build and have her account set up to where she can make money to do her business.
Absolutely.
And these are the conversations that we started having.
Yeah.
And like I said, my kids were late.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't having that conversation with them as little children.
Right.
So just like my sons, when Josh, the oldest one, when he graduated from college, he came home in May, and in September, he moved out. Okay, from college. So from home, because he wanted to buy his own house.
Yeah.
And he said to me, Dad, show me how to buy a house. And I did, because me and his mom, we were buying investment properties and fixing them up and everything like that. And he knew that we did non-traditional, buys. And so when I taught him how to do that, and so in September he bought his first house that he lived in. Then after that, in less than a year, he had 2 other houses. That he used, for investment property. And then when he got ready to buy his house, a real nice house, after he got married, and his wife got married, so he took money out of those properties.
And had the money to do it.
Because
he took the cash and he bought an asset with it.
Brought it.
And it produced more cash.
And then it created more cash.
100%. What were some of the biggest mistakes you made when you were hustling and you knew how to make money, but you didn't know how to manage it? What were some of the biggest? Because a lot of people are doing those everyday habits right now, and they don't think that it's a problem because they like, I can make more, which is a lot of, I'm sure, the mindset you had.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make some more.
Yeah,
I can buy this today. It's okay.
Right.
What are some of the biggest things that really burnt the hole in your pocket and hemorrhaged the cash that you were making back then when you weren't buying assets before? What were some of the biggest things that you were doing to waste that money, so to speak? Just a few. You ain't gotta go too far, you know.
I just don't want to say it.
What were some of those things you were doing?
Okay, two things.
Okay.
Two things in particular.
Okay.
Food and drugs. I went into hardcore drugs.
Just weed.
Yeah, just weed, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
They're like, wait a minute. I thought you said you've been in church. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe my next book gonna be a high Christian.
Because people don't understand how expensive that stuff is.
Man. Yes, sir.
Man.
So and then as a result of that, like, so with me spending money on food, and I
it probably half of the reason you were spending much money on food as well.
That's what I'm finna say. That's what I'm saying. You know, and then, you know, like particularly before I got married, you know, I'm trying to impress the girls and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, I had to have we didn't call it whips back then.
Yeah.
You know, I had to have my whip together, you know. Now what I didn't do, I've never been one to just buy new cars.
Right.
I never been, you know, I would try to my very best to buy, you know, pay cash for them. Like I said, so therefore they would be older, but they'd be clean. You know. And then I put some of the things on that I like to do, and everybody, you know, ooh, check it out. And so with that, I would go and so I'm spending money on clothes. I'm spending money on food, going out to eat, trips. You know, just doing all this. Nothing was producing.
You know what? You just made me think of something.
What's that?
How do you have that real conversation when it comes to that? Because I got a hard time saying no to the one I love.
Okay.
Because when she first met me, I'm big on let's go. You guys, my sister, like, I'm out of town every other weekend. A lot of it was for business a lot of the time, but I'm gonna make it a trip too. And as you know, Mr. D, you can look up and spend $1,000 quick going out of town. You might spend that just getting ready to go to the trip.
Know, right?
For real. Buy you a few fits for the trip. Got to buy the rental. Got to get your hair cut. Might have to buy new luggage. Like, before you look up, you done spent $500 easy.
Yes, sir. Real easy. And
then you got to go on the trip. You got to eat. You got to go and do some activities. You will come back. You just spent $2,500
easy
before you even know it.
Right.
And you ain't even go nowhere far.
No,
you went to Texas.
Right inside Texas.
How do you have that hard conversation when you say, "Baby, we're in a season where I ain't broke, but I don't either don't got it how I had it, or I want more, and I'm tired of splurging on irrelevant." How do you have that? Because I think the reason a lot of people spend the way they spend so frivolously is because they're afraid to have that type of tough conversation, either with the ones they love or themselves.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Well, again, we were talking about going back to the children.
Absolutely.
And I think bring into your relationship.
Absolutely.
It's that communication. It's educating. It's talking about.
It's so uncomfortable though, man.
Oh, it is. It's very, very comfortable.
It's uncomfortable.
But what happens is that if you have this from the beginning and said, laid out the plan, this is my plan. This is where I'm trying to get to.
That's the part.
And I need to know
that you see the vision. That
you see it. You know it. Even before we get serious. Me and my wife, we did something that most people don't do.
Yeah.
A lot of time, you know, when you court, you know, before you get married, right? You start dating. So you're courting. That's what I don't know what y'all call it.
Dating,
kicking, whatever. Okay. So, but the reason that you do that, per se, is so that you can get to know that person. Absolutely. To see if that's the person you want to marry.
Absolutely.
Well, she and I, we were not babies when we got married. So she's actually 4 years older than I am. And so I was 26. She was 30. All right. So, and we met and married, officially met. We went to college together. We were in college together, and we saw each other. That's a beautiful, beautiful love story. But I won't tell. I'll say that for another one. But the thing about it was we had dated several different people, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And both of us had a child before, you know, we got married and everything. And so it was a thing, man, I'm sick of this. I've been engaged like 3 times. She had been engaged, 1 or 2 times, and stuff. I said, you know what? What I'm gonna do is the next woman that I find that I think I might want to, kick it with,
I'm going all in.
I'm gonna let her know this is how I am. And if you can deal with it, great. If you don't like it, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm just gonna lay it out. If you don't like it, we know up front.
Yeah.
And so when I told her that, she was like, that's the same thing that I was gonna do.
Yeah.
I said that as well.
Fed up.
Man, we sat down on the couch at her apartment. Man, I told her about it. I farted in the bed. I don't get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah. This is real life, man.
This just real life,
Absolutely.
And so we were just real, real with each other. And and both of us said, okay, what do you think? She said the hardest part is getting over the fart.
Yeah.
So we've been married now for 32 years.
So I guess it wasn't. I guess they don't stink that bad.
You
know what I'm saying?
I don't know. She invested in a lot of
Breeze by the bed. Let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it at
Febreze
that.
by the bed. That's right. You got
Absolutely.
sex by the ocean and Febreze by the bed.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
I tell you, I'm just real and like to have
And
fun.
you gotta be, man. And you gotta be.
But this was the thing that where when we sit down, because I'm an entrepreneur.
Right.
I've been all my life.
Yes, sir.
Where she was a quote unquote worker bee, not in a negative sense. So she was work. She saw entrepreneurship in her dad. All right, but because he didn't really know how to manage the money, because he made some good money as a mechanic. Because everybody in that area, they knew him and they knew the quality of his work. But he blew a lot of money.
Yeah.
Kept them in financial ruins because he didn't know how to manage the money. He just spent a lot of money. Never talked to them about it. Mom was already borrowing money, bouncing checks to buy food. Okay. All right. So when she, saw that in me, that was one thing that she was really concerned with. Oh, that's gonna be a tough one.
Because you already had that trauma as a kid.
Yeah, as a kid, know. And when I started doing it, she saw that again. Oh, have mercy! I agreed to marry this joke and doing the same thing my dad was doing.
Yeah. And she didn't want to live like that.
No, she didn't. But she wouldn't leave me. I praise God for that. But this thing about it was that when I really just recognized within myself, you know what? I am an entrepreneur. I'm a professional entrepreneur that needs to be trained. And so this is where we're going. This is what I want. And laid it out. You tell me your dreams, your aspirations, which we didn't really talk about, when we were courting. Talked about everything else, but we didn't talk about that. And I said, this is what it's gonna take. And so she's like, okay, I said, you willing to go with me? Because like I said, we married at this point. You willing to go with me? She said, I got to. We in this thing together. So with me keeping, giving her information.
What was that shift though? What was that shift where you said, I gotta learn this? Was it when you joined the company you with now?
No.
What was it? What was that
that was all leading up to it. Let me tell you what the shift was.
Okay.
The shift really was the night that I came home, because I had gotten fired from a job.
Okay. What year was this?
This was within the first 6 months of our marriage.
Oh man.
1991.
Man.
Yeah, and so that was 92 when I got fired. And when I came home and told her, and I said, okay, you know what? I said, I'm just gonna start a business. I'm gonna start my business. And she's like, oh Lord, But I'm out there working. But this is what happened. I came home one night, and as I told you, she had a son when we got married. Child when we got married, and so he was about 7 years old, 8 years old. And so he comes to the door, and I come in. I'm dragging in from a long day of trying to make it happen. And he's like, hey, guess what we have for dinner? And I'm like, what? Popcorn. Oh my goodness, man, I felt that small.
It was that bad.
And we had nothing in that house. And I said, well, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta make sure I do it right. And so that's when I really went before the Lord and said, I need you to give me instructions, give me direction. And so it was a struggle for a minute, starting a business and everything like that. And but And then I didn't really know what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, because I was a jack of all trades, master of none. And I started making some money. But the thing about it was, like I said, just as fast as it was coming in, it was going out. I was, I wanted to be that good husband. I wanted to make it up to her and everything. But then that's when, again, the question was, how do you make that transition? I said, hey, I got to stop and say, okay, baby, this is what we're gonna do. This is the direction we're gonna go in. And I want to know, are you with me? She said, okay, let's do it. And so I've basically, I've had odds and end jobs, did what I had to do. But when I talk with her, she's been with me. She's cried, and everything like that. But she knows that I had a plan. And then when that day came, even though she was telling me, hey, I want to do this, can't do it right now. Yeah, but I'm tired of seeing all my friends. I know we can't do it right now. But then when that day came, the Lord says it's time, do it. And I told her, I said, okay,
I gotta
that
be one of the
house,
most uncomfortable things to say and do, though.
man.
Is that we can't do it right now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was uncomfortable. But the thing about it was, I knew where I was going. I knew where I was going. So the GPS of my life was laid out. And so to tell her we can't do it right now, it was uncomfortable. But it wasn't uncomfortable enough to the point that I said, okay, we're gonna dump the bank account. When I got into real estate, and I said, okay, there's some good money in this. And I went from broke, really. I always laugh at that when I say broke. I was a Christian. They talk about being broke, but I wasn't broke because I had the knowledge. I had some wealth of knowledge. I just need to start applying it. And so when I got me a mentor, I say, I want to learn how to buy houses, non-traditionally. My credit's bad. I ain't got no money. And so I set up under him, and he taught me, and I had 2 cars in the yard, broke down, house was in foreclosure. Got with him on that, and in less than 10 months, I had $100,000 in the bank and owned 3 houses. It's like, wow.
Wait a minute. What was that process to be able to accumulate that type of cash flow? Like, what was that like? What did you have to do that?
Get educated.
But no. Give me the step by step. What did you do at that moment to build that type of cash value in that time frame? That's $10K a month, basically, roughly. What did you do?
Got educated.
What did you learn?
Oh, that's what you want to know?
Absolutely.
I learned how to change my mindset. Most time when we hear education, you need to get an education.
Yeah.
Most time we think that means you got to go to college.
Right.
I got around people that was doing what I wanted to do.
Right.
The ones who are showing the success. And I learned from them. I need you to teach me. That's what I did. I went to him and I asked him to show me what you're doing. And the great part about it, he was willing to do it.
Right.
Now, he charged me money.
Of course.
He charged me money.
And that'd be the part that'd be killing me. If we say we want to change and better and this and that, but when that happens,
that's where the problem comes.
Absolutely.
And it's got stories behind that. His thing was, I got his program. I was one of his first students. He charged me and another girl to teach us $5,000. Mm-hmm. Like I said, this was in 2005. Mm-hmm. So, and I told him, I said, well, I don't have $5,000. He said, don't worry about it, because I'm going to show you how to do it. And you're going to make money, and you just give me money out of your first property. I said, hey, you good with it? I'm good with it. Yeah. And so he started teaching me about, number one, he says, we need to change your tax status on your job. I was working a job.
That's number one.
Change tax status.
Why was that so important?
Because that was money I was just giving to the government. I was loaning money to the government. And what I had to do was I changed my W-4. Mm-hmm. So where I was claiming 2 or 3, claiming 3 on my taxes. Mm-hmm. And so they was taking all these on my W-2, W-4, they were taking all this tax money, sending it to the government every month, every pay period. All right, well, there's a story behind that too, that I learned and being educated. What they did, So with that, man, he said, you need to change it to 10. I said, well, I ain't got no 10 kids. And so he says, your exemptions and allowances, that doesn't mean kids. So what is it that the government allows you to be exempt from, and then what allowances can you make to make up for that? I'm like, okay. So my check, me and my wife's check, both of us, we changed our W-4s
Mm-hmm.
from 'cause I think I was carrying 3 and she was carrying 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's the way we're taught, you know. How many kids y'all got? You know?
Mm-hmm. And you were literally putting how many kids you had.
That was it.
Right.
So what they ended up doing was that we both went to 10 exemptions. Went to 10 exemptions, and our checks, we started bringing in right at $500 a month
Mm-hmm.
into our paychecks.
That weren't there previously.
No, the money was there.
Right, but it was going to the government.
It was going to the government.
Right.
We were making money, so it was going to the government.
Right.
It was going where I learned, I became educated to the point that the job was taking the money out of my check,
right, and put it in another account,
put it in their bank account.
Absolutely.
And
so
then every quarter,
yeah, absolutely,
every 3 months,
absolutely.
Then they done draw interest off of it, and it wasn't in no bank account.
It was in an escrow account.
It was in an investment account.
Absolutely. That's genius. It's crooked a little bit, but it's genius.
And it's legal.
Absolutely.
It's not really crooked.
It really ain't crooked. It really ain't.
That's because the government says.
And they're not gonna tell you to change your tax. No, they're not gonna tell you to do that because they're gonna want you to do that.
No, because that's less money. You know.
Absolutely. Were they mad when you changed it?
No, the most. Well, as far as because now this company had 11,000 employees.
Okay.
Yeah,
they probably
yeah. So it ain't but a couple of us that was doing it.
Absolutely.
You know, anyway.
Absolutely.
Now some other folks, they may have been doing it,
but
they were just trying to figure out what was going to happen at the end of the year. But I was like, so what we were getting back a little bit of money, you know, $300, $400, $500. You know, after we didn't. Yeah, I mean, we were getting $2,000 or $3,000 for income tax return. All right. Well, we went from there to bringing home like 4,000. Man, that was cool.
All because of those changes.
Yeah, all because of those changes.
And so that's how you started to accumulate that money.
And that was money that was coming in. Like I said, man, we were using that to paying off debts and everything like that.
Absolutely.
So we buying property. You know, so we got the properties. We would refurbish those properties. We would take a property. My very first property I talk about it in the book.
Yeah.
The very first property that I bought was I think I paid $2,500 for it, and it was on a lot. You can stand on the street, look through from this street to that street because it just had 2x4s and had a roof on it and had a foundation. No pipes, no wiring, electricity, nothing. And it was an eyesore to the community, and that was what we decided. Okay, this is gonna be our focus. We're gonna start building up the neighborhood that she was raised up in, here in Little Rock. And so with that, man, got a bank, found a bank. He told me, he says, what you do is that you go to every bank that you can, and then one of those banks is going to give you money. I said, but my credit is jacked up. I don't have any credit, and I ain't got no money. He said, what you do is you talk to every bank, and one of them banks is going to give you some money. And I'm like, okay.
Did you finally find one?
Yeah. And this was the thing. I put together, he educated me. That's why I talk about educating. I got educated. He told me, he says, that's what you need to do. He said, you need to find you a team. You get to find your electrician, find your plumber, find your contractor. All right. He says, and then also a real estate agent. You need to find you a inspector and an appraiser. I'm like, I don't know any of these people. Oh, yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
You know them. You just got think they gonna come to you because you're looking for it, you're expecting it. I'm like, I don't know none of these folks. Man, look at every time I turn around, here was somebody. I said, well, listen, this is what I'm getting ready to do. I got this property, and I got the property from a guy that just gave me the title on it.
You had to pay for it.
No, I gave him $500, so earnest money.
That's crazy.
Then, that was the other thing, man. Cause like I said, it's all in the book. You know how I came up with the $500. Because again, I ain't have no money. And my mentor, he said, "Yes, you do." I said, "Man, I ain't got no $500. I know I don't." He said, "Yes, you do." And then it dawned on me where the $500 was.
And what was it?
It was in our property, in my home that I was raised up in.
Stashed away.
Yeah. And so my brother, my parents had died. My brother was managing the property, and 'cause we had two sisters, well, three sisters at the time, but two of them were on disability, and they couldn't work, But whenever they needed something, we would just take the money out of there because we was renting that house out.
Right.
And so, when I thought about it, I called him. I said, "Hey, man, this is what I'm getting ready to do to my brother." And I said, "I need to borrow because the money was for the sisters,
Right.
and I'm working and everything." I said, "I need to borrow $500 till I get this." He's like, "Okay." We talked to the other siblings. They said, "Fine with us, as long as it's there when we need it." Got the money, got that 500, paid the dude the earnest money. He gave me a title.
Wow.
So I had the title. So I mean, I own the property. So I just started going to the bank. I said, "Here's my title, and this is what I'm going to do to this property."
Yeah.
And they looked at it and said, "Well, there were those that said your credit is jacked up, but you own the property. You ain't got no down payment. Don't need no down payment. I own the property."
Cause that was the leverage that you used.
Yeah.
Cause they could have took. They was going.
That's the leverage.
I got you. So as long as you got something to offer, somebody will do it.
Somebody's gonna do it. And so when I went to in the last bank that I went to, they don't exist anymore because the banks have changed names. But one bank. So I went to one bank. That was the name of it. And I told the guy, that talked to him back and forth. And he's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be hard, but we can make this thing happen." So let me talk to my people. So then he called me one day and he says, "It's approved." Got the appraisal on the property, and like I told you, the house was like she just had a roof,
It was an eyesore.
had a foundation, and had two 2x4s, and had the side just kind of hanging out, an eyesore. I said, "This is what I'm going to do for the property." You know how much they gave me?
How much?
$47,000.
From 500.
47,000, 47.2, as a matter of fact,
And that was for you to fix it up.
for me to fix it up.
Right. How much you ended up flipping it for? You remember?
Well, I didn't flip it. What I did, I rented because my
Okay.
my
You wanted to pass it.
yeah. So what I did was it took 27,000, right around that, to fix the property up. All right, and so then the rest of the money was mine. So out of that money, I went and bought another property. Did the same thing. Same thing, same exact thing.
Absolutely.
So
Did
when
you go
that-
get another loan, or you just use that money alone?
No, I got
You just use that 20K.
Yeah, no, I took the that money,
Yep.
and like I said, I had more leverage now.
Absolutely.
And so, but when I went into the bank, I said, "Hey, I got another property. This is what I want to do." And they said, "Okay."
Same bank or a different one?
Same bank.
Wow.
Same bank. Because I'm building rapport with them.
Absolutely.
So they saw what I was doing, working on that. So got that property, built fixed that house up,
Absolutely.
and then money out of that property. Then I went to another property. Wow. Did the same thing. And so, like I said, the first one I got, like I said, 47,000. The next one I paid, had to pay 12.5 for that property, and it was in better condition, but they were asking 38,000. I got them down to 12,000.
How the heck you do? I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know how you did that.
I asked for it.
Man, you've given so many gems here, on a number of things. I think we could talk all day.
Yeah.
But I think the real question I would love to know is, because from my background in community outreach and doing that type of work for so long before, media really took over for me, a lot of churches we used to reach out to me and they'd be like, "How do we get more youth involved in church? How do we get more youth involved and, want to be a part of our congregation, so to speak, right? How do we connect with that audience?" And I said, a lot of the reasons why people don't want to come that's younger is because, like you just said, y'all not down to earth. Y'all do so much preaching, but there's very little teaching. Right. There's nothing that I can hardly take back and apply to my real life, such as building wealth, understanding money, right? How to deal with relationships, like real things that we go through every single day.
Right.
And I said, I think that's the biggest disconnect. And so for you, what do you think is the biggest connection between money and church? what do you think is the relationship there? And why don't more people talk about money in church? Well, I think that's starting to become a thing now that
It is.
more people are doing.
It is.
But why did it take so long? And what's the relationship between the two?
Well, it goes back to what I said early on in this interview,
Mm-hmm.
is that the enemy,
Mm-hmm.
for us, meaning Satan,
Mm-hmm.
that he wants us to believe that money is evil.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is, if money is so evil,
Mm-hmm.
why would he not want us to have it?
Mm-hmm.
You see, because if he's evil, I mean, he would want us to have it.
Absolutely.
Now, when we do get it, if we don't understand how to use it, it's going to be a problem. So the disconnect is what we have understood and what we've been taught and the way we've been taught about money and how it works, and that it is a bad thing. But again, it goes back to being a tool. I was talking, we were getting ready to we did a big food giveaway this past Saturday here before Thanksgiving. And what happened was that one of the ladies that used to be a member of our church was talking to one of the present members,
Mm-hmm.
and they got to talking about the event that I got coming up in December,
Mm-hmm.
which is our health and wealth fitness weekend.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so on the finance part, where she was at, she says, and the former member told the present member, she said, Pastor D been talking to us about finances in church for a long time, and we just didn't get it, but he kept on talking about it. And that's the thing there, is that sometimes we get discouraged because it's not working the way that we think it ought to work, or that we thought it would work. We think that, okay, well, you teach it one time, everybody's going to get saved, talking about finances or whatever it may be. Sometimes it takes a while, but we have to be consistent in it. And then when you show that consistency in it, eventually it's going to click. And that's why, like I said, I wanted our youth. I don't, at this point, like I said, we had several youth, and they were all around the same age, same ages, and they graduated from high school, and they all went to different parts, different colleges, or out of the state. But the thing about it was, I wanted to make sure that they knew that money in the church was good, as long as we do right with it. When I pray over the offering, I always promise the Lord, I said, Lord, we will be good stewards over this that you've blessed us with.
Yeah.
And so that's what has to happen. Yeah, we got to make sure that people understand that money is not evil. Money is good. That's why God talks about it, because I tell people all the time, I say, I preach for free, but it takes money
For this ministry.
to do ministry.
100%.
So people even want to, that kind of like going back to when we talked about just a moment ago, for my mentor, I paid for a mentor to show me how to make money.
Yeah.
All right. And so, but people, they want to come to me for pre-marriage counsel, marriage counsel, and everything like that. But they want me to do it for free. Well, I can do it for free. God has blessed me to be able to share. But it would be nice if I got to come away from my family, because you have never gone to your doctor and said, I'm not paying a copay.
Never.
I'm not paying the co-insurance. I'm not going to pay you any insurance. I just want you to tell me what's wrong with me. I want you to run all the tests, and I ain't giving you no money. Doc, I want you to leave your family. I know you got staff. I got staff too. I got a wife and kids,
Biggest staff of them all.
The biggest staff of them all. But that's the thing about it, is like I said, when people start understanding, it's like, you know what? People need money, even in ministry. And it's as an appreciation. I teach classes, whatever my class may be, it always kind of comes back to this.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, other ministries have me talking about money, come to ministry or do a class or something like that. And then people that call me, and again, they want it for free. And but when you have those who got the right mentality, they'll say, hey, I really like what you said in the class, and I want to get some more information. I want to do some one-on-one. Want to go out to lunch? We'll be happy to pay you. Tell us what your fee is. Man, that is music to my ear.
Absolutely. It's not even about the money.
No,
For me, it's not, because one of the most
it really
frustrating
isn't.
things for me, business wise, if somebody says, I need your services, we want to work with you, is when I give them the blueprint
Uh-huh.
and you do nothing with it.
Ooh.
That's so frustrating, because
Mm,
it's
mm,
deeper
mm.
than money
It
for
is.
me.
It
Because
is.
I've
Yeah,
given you the most thing that I can never get back,
right.
my time.
My time.
And now you're gonna go put some half-cocked mammy together, and they're gonna say, "Who helped you with that?"
Yeah.
And then you're gonna say, "Me."
Yeah, I know, right?
And I didn't
Right.
help you do
No,
that,
no, don't.
right?
What's that? The devil is a lie.
You know what I mean? But the thing I love about it, like you
Yeah.
said, I'm gonna pay you your fee, is
Mm.
because when you put a price on your value, it's
Yeah,
gonna get the
right.
people out of the way that aren't serious.
That's right.
That's what I
That's
love
right.
about it.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Just yesterday,
I have it all the time.
hey, I want your help with da 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 da.
Mhm.
All right, well, hey, this is what you got to do. Here's the link.
Mhm.
Here's the fee. Then DM me back.
Right.
That's okay,
Right.
because you got out of the way.
You got out the way.
You didn't waste my
Absolutely.
time.
Absolutely.
Because at one
I have
moment,
it
I know
all
you
the
can
time.
attest to this. You probably did it for free, right? Or
Mhm.
you'll help them for free, and they'll pay you later. Or you think you're going to go through this whole process and then
Mhm.
talk about money last, but then you get to it and like, oh, I got to pay for it.
Yeah.
So you did all this stuff up front.
Oh, I got to pay for it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's have that conversation up first, so I can know if you're serious and you're gonna really commit to this.
That's right. That's right.
You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? So that's why I like that
Yeah.
that conversation, because it gets the people that are gonna just waste your time out of the way for you even go
That's
too far.
right. That's right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And we're gonna end it on this.
Okay.
If you could give one solid piece of advice to the people, what I call it is food for thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like to call it. What would be that thing that you give them to just go on for the rest of their life with? Business, life, financial literacy, from a spiritual standpoint, like, what would be that one piece of advice you would want to give them?
Always invest into something that's going to pay you back. That's in life. When you invest in your time, when you invest in your wisdom, your knowledge, into people, it's going to pay you back. Not necessarily just financially. Not meaning that, but you're going to see the fruit of your reward. If it's money, you're taking that money, that cash, asset cash, take the cash, buy an asset, it's going to create more cash for you. That's what I simply just said. Investing into something, relationships. Invest into a relationship that's going to give you something back. And I'm not talking about, just in marriage or dating or something like that. Investing in kids, they're going to give you kids back. No, I'm talking about something that's going to bring value to your life, because the greater value you have, the more value now you can put back, more so into the earth.
100%.
And that's what it's about, because God has blessed us. God invested His Son Jesus Christ into us so that we can go out and get others, tell them about the good life. Oh, the saying is not going to be difficult. I've taken money, and I've invested in some stocks, and they didn't always give me the return that I wanted when I wanted them. Oh, but when you get that letter, when you get now, say you get an email, say check your account. Man, that's a wonderful feeling, because I see now that it's starting to grow, because I invested. When I get the conversation I had with the lady, and the lady said, he's been talking to us about finances for years. Now, I see the value in that. That right there, that blesses me. That makes me want to go on and continue to do that.
I'm just thank you for spending time with me.
Man,
Most
thank you for
valuable
letting
thing
me.
that we can give to people, man.
Man, I tell you what.
100%.
I
We
really
gotta do a
appreciate
part
it,
two.
bro.
We gotta do a part two.
Do a part two, man. That'd be
got
great.
We got to, man, because I know there's so much more that we can say and that can be said.
Oh yeah.
And it can be taught. And so and you helping me, right? Because that's why I love doing this, because what people don't know is just really a way for me to get free game.
Oh.
You feel me?
Okay.
It's really what it is. I'm getting free master
okay,
classes
okay.
in a way,
Okay, yeah.
Because now you got me thinking about, man, I need to do real estate. I need to get into this, right? You know what I mean? Like you teaching me that, and so but that's a big thing. And again, I just appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you.
100%. So how can people connect with you? How can they learn more about your business? How can people, become part of your ministry? How can they go about that? Just give the people how they can get the best way to go about it and get in contact.
Well, I guess probably the best way, because like I said, I'm part of most of the platforms, the social media platforms. But you can call me directly at 501-580-4748.
Yep.
501-580-4748.
All right,
So
Mr.
just text me. That's the best way. Now, if you call me and I don't recognize the number,
I'm not answering.
yeah,
You hear me? You hear me?
and leave a message.
I'm thinking about I owe somebody.
Yeah, I know, right? Because one of the things is like say a message unleft is a call unreturned.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Well, Mr. D, man, again, I appreciate you for spending the time. And
Thank you for having me.
absolutely, sir. And
All right.
that concludes another episode of SpeakUPZee, the podcast, man. The podcast where we just try to bring more value to you guys every single day, man. Until next time, we love y'all.
Hey, what's up? This is Will Z Tidwell with SpeakUPZee. And I just want to take a quick second just to thank you for tuning in to this latest episode of SpeakUPZee, the podcast. And my only goal with this platform is to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you around all things life, business, and mental health, whether it's myself or me bringing on a special guest. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. We don't ask for any type of monetary gains or anything like that. The best thing you could do for us is just like and subscribe to the channel. Until next week, we'll see y'all later. Peace.